Alright, so, so I haven't made an intro tutorial in a while. So I'm going to make a proper one with it being all like cut and all that. So let's start. I'm going to get my music here. And now we're going to open up After Effects here. I have Flow here. You can find it for free, but I don't really think I can show that on here because I'm probably going to get this taken down. But the plugins I'm going to be using are Deep Glow, RSMB, Magic Bullet, Trap Code. I'm not going to be using Form because I have not been able to get that to work, but I will be using Particular and Teo probably. And you're going to need Sapphire. This is what all that stuff is. And I'm also using Saber and Twitch. Twitch is not free, but Saber is. You can get this from their official website. Optical flares, it's not supported on macOS Tahoe, as you can see. I have on macOS Tahoe. Alright, anyway, with all that being said, let's just get into it. I'm going to be using the Mascot Aesthetic Remix. I'm just going to use a normal fade. And then just crop it. Okay. So you want to listen through. That seems about good. Alright, and then you want to press Command-Shift-D or Control-Shift-D if you're on Windows. And you're going to want to find where the clip ends. It's at 727 frames, so I'm going to put 727 right here, and you're good. Alright, so that's step one. Now we need to make a song edit. I'm also going to clip this right here, just because. Now you're going to show the waveform, and go to where you want it to fade in, and then keyframe it, keyframe audio levels. And then put this here until it gets flat. You can add easing to this if you want it to just suddenly be really loud. Give it a bit of, like, I don't know, automation. Sounds good. Alright. You can also use the audio waveform to mark. I usually use the keyframe assistant. I'll talk a little bit about that later. I might use the waveform for this because it's really punctual with the kicks. So you can clearly see where the kicks are and the snares. But I will get into marking with the Convert Audio to Keyframes feature. But I'm going to show this for now. So let's, so I'm going to go to this keyframe and simply press the numpad asterisk. And I'm going to go to where the audio peaks and then place another marker there and keep doing that until it's all marked. So I'm going to quickly do that now. Alright, it's all marked now. Okay, now I'm going to get into marking with the Keyframe Assistant. So you want to right click here and click Keyframe Assistant, and then click Convert Audio to Keyframes. Once you get this, you're going to go to Effects, and then delete both the left and right channel because you don't need them. And click on the slider thing here, and then click on this button here. This is the graph editor. And you just gotta listen for the peaks. I mean, you just gotta look for peaks like this, because those are usually the kicks and snares. But if you still need to, you can still listen through. I'm gonna do the same thing here. And you kind of got the same thing. So, except I forgot to mark this part. So they both work the same way. You might want to use the audio amplitude, but I already have some good markers here, so I'm just going to use those. You can use this if you want, but honestly, I really prefer these because you can press K and J to cycle through them. K is to go to the next marker, and then the J is gonna take you to the previous marker. Okay, so now that you've got the song figured out, my process is I usually start on movements so I can deal with them, so I don't have to deal with them later when the composition is really laggy and it takes a while to render. So yeah. Okay, so we're going to just put text. I'm gonna put tutorial. Okay, and I'll change the font later because I already used this font in my previous intro. I mean, I haven't released that yet, but whatever. Okay, so add a new adjustment layer. You can do that by pressing right click and then new adjustment layer, and then go over to here. I can leave a link in the description for my sync that I use. I use CharFX's bounce script for the scaling, and I'll leave that in the description if you want to use that for like whatever. You just click on it and drag it to the adjustment layer. So press U and go press K. Select all the keyframes and then click Command C or Control C, and then go to the next keyframe, Control V, and just keep repeating that until you get to the last keyframe. Also, I should mention that you should probably be saving a lot because After Effects crashes a lot and you usually don't know the reason. I'm going to get rid of the tilt shake because I don't really feel like I need it. You can also tweak with the settings over here. You just have to go down here, click amp or frequency or delay, and then just change it. I'm going to change this to 0.7. I'm also going to tweak with the Twitch settings because I feel like I just have it a little too high. Slider 10 should probably be... Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. Now we can get to like the actual movements instead of just the sync. I'm gonna hide this layer. I'm gonna put this under here and search for S blur Mo curves. Oh, and then just set the shutter duration to 0 because we don't need motion blur right now. We're gonna add that later. If you press Wrap X and Wrap Y right now, it'll just do this. So just leave that off until you get to like the background. I'm gonna do a rotation here. I'm gonna draw it out a bit more. I'm gonna put it back here, and then just go through that. I'm gonna show you how to make your own these things. Press F9. Go into value graph. Go into value graph. I mean graph. I keep saying graphed. Hold shift while you're doing this one. That's a bit too fast, so I'm going to lower these down a bit. You should also probably lower these down a bit if it's a bit. See, that makes a lot more of a difference. Okay, so now I want to show you how to make one of those like mask things. I'll put up an example on the screen. But what you want to do is you want to add another blur Mo curves right here. I'm gonna rename this vertical. I don't know what it. Okay. Anyway, So you're going to want to set these to reflect. And then just set this to 1080. Oh, forgot to set the shutter duration. And then 2160. Actually, I'm going to show you how to use flow. This seems like a good opportunity. You're going to go to your easing that you want, and then select where you want to ease, and then make sure to set the ease out for this one, and then ease in for this one. And do the same for this one. Ease out, ease in. Okay, so that was pretty easy. And you should get something like that. Now I'm going to show you how to mask it. This might not be the most efficient way to do it, whatever. But whatever. So what you want to do is I'm going to turn on proportional grid. I'm going to set this full quality so I can get the most accurate thing. Move it to around here, and then move it to. It doesn't have to be that accurate. You can kind of just, and then you can fine tune it. Okay, now you can turn off the proportional grid. Now go over here and click auto trace. Now click copy and then paste it on the vertical. And you should get a, yeah, like that. There you go. And now you can duplicate this and rotate it. And then move it. Alright, there we go. Just so I can make this a little less laggy, I'm gonna do this. Uh-oh, what the heck? And if you want, you can also make it go up instead of down. You press minus. You just add a negative and then go. You also might need to adjust the easings. Yeah, see, it kind of got all messed up here. Okay, anyway, do the same thing here. No. Ease out, and then ease in. There you go. Now it's fixed. Now I'm gonna make the text. So I'm gonna pre-compose this and rename it to text. Now I'm going to add a gradient. So search for gradient, and then move these points, the end of ramp Y positions down here, swap them. Now I think I'm gonna make this like a gray intro, so I'm gonna kind of leave that as is, just make it a bit darker, and then make this a bit brighter. There we go. Light sweep. Search for that. Set it to 90. And then you can get this cool shine effect in your text. Just change the sweep intensity to whatever you want. I'm gonna turn off the edge intensity. I'm gonna turn that all the way down. Now I'm gonna show you alpha mats. So add a black solid by pressing Command Y or Control Y. Whenever I say Command on Windows, it's Control. Okay. Now go to Sapphire Transitions or Transition or whatever you want to use. And then find the transition you want to use. I'm going to use dots. And then change this to shrink. No, don't add it. Okay. Now change it to alpha matte. Now duplicate the text and turn off the alpha matte. And then add a brightness and contrast. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna add another thing in it. Grid. Search for grid. Add grid. Increase the border a little bit, and then alpha inverted matte. There you go. Do the same thing. Brightness, contrast, legacy, and you can also invert the grid if you want. That looks a lot better, honestly. And then pre-compose that again. I'm gonna add a folder for pre-compose compositions so I can keep things organized. My intro AEPs are not organized at all. I'm gonna save. Okay, I'm gonna add bevel and emboss so we can get a cool texture when we do edge detect. And I'll show you that in a second. I'm not gonna put it too high. I'm gonna put it like there. Okay, I'm gonna pre-compose this and then click move all attributes into the new composition so it'll be actually picked up by the edge detect. That's what makes it look cool. Still need to do the stroke and echo space. Go to right click layer styles and add a stroke. Just go down and then adjust the settings to your liking. I'm gonna put the color gray and the size 5.5. Now search echo space. If you don't have it, then install Trapcode. You can find it somewhere that I'm not going to mention because I don't want this video to get taken down. Move the Y offset to like 3, and then just the scale to like -2. It doesn't matter if it looks like this because we're going to add a fill anyway. Let's do it now. Adjustment layer, add a fill. Make it the same color as the stroke by clicking the eyedropper and then selecting the stroke color. And then make it a little bit darker. So then it should look like this. And then if you want to, you can even add a gradient ramp like that. I'm going to select the fill. Then add a gradient effect so it like fades, which also looks pretty cool. And to be honest, I feel like I like that one better. So we're going to do that. Okay, so now we're going to pre-compose this again, then warp. Search for warp, and then go to distort, warp. It's that easy, huh? Get rid of this, and then vertical distortion, set it to like 20. You can mess with the bend if you want, but I would not have it on arc, and it would probably mess up the text a little bit. See, like how it's off-centered? That's why I don't use bend. We're just going to keep it like this. Okay, so now add an S-edge detect. If it looks like crap at first, but turn down the edge smooth and it looks like this. Cool, right? If it doesn't look that cool to you, you can mess with the settings a little bit. You can turn down the brightness a little bit, or you can mess with the threshold. You can also mess with the weight, red, green, and blue. That just kind of colorizes it here because there's no color. As you can see, if you can make it blue if you want. You can mix the colors even. But the problem now is that you can't really see it. So I'm gonna add another stroke. Make it white, and then add a shine here. You just remove the stroke if it looks like this. I'm going to set this to one color and make it white. Boost light a little bit. And then I'm also probably going to show you how you can make a saber effect. So go to Layer, Auto Trace, Current Frame, and you have this. So copy both the masks, press Ctrl X to cut them, and then create a black solid. Paste the masks in with Control V or Command V. Saber. Go to Customize Core and click Layer Masks. And there you go. But you can't see the text, so go to Render Settings and click Transparent. And you can also select a preset, so you can use cellular, you can have arc reactor style. This one looks really nice, but I've overused this and I don't want to be repetitive. You can also do, some of these don't really look that good in general on intros, but you can kind of mix and match them and see which one sticks. You can also tinker with the settings a little bit. Honestly, that looks pretty nice as it is, so I'm going to leave it like that. So you don't need to pre-compose it if you're going to, but I'm just going to pre-compose it. Okay, so now we can make movements to the text. So click on toggle switches / mode, and then click on the 3D icon right here. Then that gives you 3D rotation. So you have X, Y, and Z. So you can do much more complex rotations. You can do this. You can move the text like that. And I'm going to use Flow for this just because I'm lazy and I don't really feel like making my own things right now. So do that. Boom. Boom. There. Done. I'm probably going to put this over here because I have another idea. Now I'm going to show you how to make a text transition, like a text scale thing. Okay, here it is. So copy this, and then go to press S for scale. Then while holding Alt, press the keyframe button, and that'll give you expressions. So paste in the script that I mentioned for the expression, and keyframe this. Go like 2 frames, add another keyframe, and then go to first keyframe, set this to 0. If it's too much, then you can also mess with the expression here. You can set the amplitude and all that stuff. I'm gonna also set this to 0.7, like I did with the sync. Now for that thing I was talking about. You can also do this thing. So set this to 50. You space it out a bit more, then it will look a bit, it'll decrease the strength. Alright, and then I set that, I did that 4 times, so I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4. You press Command and then the arrow keys if you want to go frame by frame. Anyway, I'm gonna do that again. But it doesn't have to be the same. You can kind of just do that again. So now we're gonna move on to the background, which is, in my opinion, the most fun part. So first, we need a basis. So I'm going to search for optical flare images. If I could, I would use the optical flares plugin, but that is currently not working. It's currently broken on my system and broken on macOS Toho in general. So this is my compromise for now. I'm going to use this one, drag it into here. I'm going to rename this flare. And then scale that down if it's too big. Go back to toggle switches / modes, and then click add. If it's on a different layer, then this will definitely help. If it's on a higher layer, that is. Now I'm going to add a hue saturation so I can make it desaturated. And then I'm going to add S-Glow. You can also just use the Glow plugin if you want. It's built. There's a built-in Glow plugin. I just like using this because it's a lot of. You can really like tinker with the settings a lot more. I'm gonna put this under the hue saturation so it's like absolutely desaturated. Now we have the start. Now I would add a grid, but I've done that twice already. There's stuff like S Aurora, which looks like this. Maybe I'll use this. Yeah. I'm going to use this. Give it like a bit of brightness change. Go to drop down, transform, opacity. Something like 35 should do it. It's not much, but it'll add like a smoke kind of thing but I will add proper smoke at some point. For now, I'm going to add another black solid. I'm going to save this before because this plugin is kind of unstable. Particular. Alright, so I'm going to do a bit of particular explanation here. So go into the designer, and then it looks like this. So that's kind of boring, right? So switch it to box, and then move it down here, 1080. Depending on your resolution, you can make it like emit off like this. You can make like a simple particle background like this, or you could kind of like have it emit off like this. I've done this before, and it turns out pretty nice. But I want to show you how to make a the background that I used in the Xseer intro. I'll put that on screen. Go to environment and increase the wind speed, and then also increase the Y speed, and then also go over to the actually it looks fine now. Okay, so now you got that. You can also mess with the fast physics thing. You got spin, so you can make it do stuff like that. You can increase the frequency, fade in. And I'm also going to add a color thing. So change it from at start to over life, and then switches to this preset. Now you can swap it like that. So now you have a bit of a fade in. If you accidentally delete like that, you can just add it like that again. And then I'm going to add a different particle sprite. So I'm going to click sprite, choose sprite. I'm going to use X. That's different enough, right? Okay, but now it looks like this, so I'm going to use colorize, increase the size random. I'll also do that to the opacity. But it looks kind of stupid, so I'm going to also use the random rotation thing. Random speed rotate. And there you go. You got something like that. That's a start. If it looks kind of like this, then you can just click add. And I'm also going to duplicate this and rotate it 180 degrees. Okay, so that looks nice, right? Now I'm going to show you how to make smoke with particular. So I'll add a black solid. I'm going to move it under the flare. Okay, go back to the designer. Change it to box again. And I'm going to switch it to XYZ individual again. And scale it up really big. Okay. And now switch it to cloudlet, the particle type. Go over to size and rotation. Change the size all the way up. Like this. Opacity. Just put this all the way to like there. I'm going to even switch this to like 0.5 and then increase the randomness of the opacity. Same with the size. And I'm not going to bother with the random speed rotation. I'm not going to make it like... It's already laggy enough, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to decrease the opacity more with the opacity in the transform. And also, if the flare is looking too bright, you can add brightness contrast. And then simply turn it down a bit. It's on add, so it'll kind of look... I'm also going to put this under the S-Glow, so it looks a little bit nicer. Okay. It's looking pretty good. Now, I'm going to show you how to make a saber kind of thing, like I did in my Kenneth intro. So add a saber again, but I'm not going to use the layer mask thing. Instead, put these both to 540. Nope, 540. And then simply like change these until they're off screen. Like that. Okay, burning. I'm going to use that. It looks kind of good. I'm going to also decrease the glow intensity and the core size a little bit. I'm just going to increase the glow intensity a little bit more. And then go to render settings and then transparent. There you go. Simple as that. I'm also going to kind of rotate it a bit because it's kind of off. It's kind of looking a bit off with the... There you go. I'm going to also show you how to make a tail background now. So add a black solid. And then click the pen tool. Go right in the center. And then kind of like do something like that. If it's keep the black solid selected so it's like, yeah. And if you need to, you can turn on the proportional grid so you can kind of get it on center. I'm gonna do that right here. There you go. You're good. Now I'm gonna add Teo. It's also in trap code. I'm just gonna disable the path generator here because we don't need it. Save taper size. Oh, and also go to segment and click repeat spear, and then decrease the segments. That way it looks more like what you see in other people's intros. And then also make the taper start like 100 and the taper end like this. I think it kind of looks a little bit like there's a little bit too little. I'm gonna go over to 100. Do the same for this. And then 100. Move this, like offset it a lot. If it looks too short, then do that. Okay, well it still looks a little bit like crap, so I'm gonna add another S edge detect. Decrease the edge smooth. And I'll decrease the brightness just a little bit. And I'm also going to add deep glow. Just a little bit. And then set this to add. See, that looks really nice now. Okay, now press Command D, 180. And then pre-compose this. I'm gonna add this into the pre-comp folder. 90. Add. Actually, hold on. I made a mistake, hold on. You don't add the deep glow right here. You add it here. There we go. Also, if you need to, you can also just move these to where you can actually see them clearly when the intro actually starts. And then move that. There we go. Problem solved. Okay, so we need a way to make this keep going. So for that, I'm going to add echo. Not echo space. And then set the echo time to like 1... like that, and then put the echoes to like where it will repeat infinite. Just make sure they're not like touching each other. Okay, now that looks good, right? Now, time for another thing. I'm going to thing from Aftermotion Z, if you know what that is. If it looks like this, just trust me, I've used this like a million times and it's always looked fine. See, I mean, it kind of looks a little bit weird. It looks kind of just trust the process. Add another deep glow here, and then pre-compose it, and move all attributes into the new composition. Very deliberately doing that. Okay, pre-compose. I'm also gonna do video overlays. I'm gonna set this to add, and then set the exposure. Not exposure, brightness, contrast. But now I'm gonna add shapes. So I'm gonna show you an easy way to make a background. This is not the same method that a lot of people have been using, but it looks about the same, and I find it just a little bit easier. Alright, so go to generate, add a black solid, and then do radio waves. It looks like this, but go over to polygon and set the sides to 4 for your typical donuts. So it'll look like this. Oh, it's looping. It's probably, see it. It looks kind of like your average donuts that you would find in any intro. So change the width to like 50 or 100. 100 probably is, yeah, 100 looks fine. And frequency, I'm going to change this to half, so I can add another layer that has a more kind of has a better, like a blind effect. Just make it so it doesn't have to be perfect, but just make it kind of look like they're moving evenly. Okay, so now that you've got that, add a Venetian blinds. Change the completion to something like 35. And then duplicate it if you want a grid kind of thing. Like that. And you can set it to transparent. And I'm going to pre-compose this, and just for a little bit of, yeah. I'm going to add the, I don't think we need a drop shadow actually, because it's going to be low opacity anyway. Okay, I really don't know what just happened there. I don't know why it was refusing to add it. Also, I'm sorry about my chair. It's really squeaky. Okay, so put it on a very low opacity, and that should be it. So go over here and add CC bubbles. If it looks like crap to you, then go to none. Go to shading type and click none. And then fill white. And do the same thing that you did with the shapes. Linear dodge, I feel like that's just add, but I was just suggested to do that by a member of the VRFX server. Now, we don't need to make this like very complicated now, because this already looks pretty good. So we're gonna leave it at that. Now, instead of just adding this to the intro, like the composition, I'm actually going to render this separately, because it'll make it look a lot, it'll make it render a lot faster that way. So I'm gonna be right back. Handbrake, it's a video encoder. Go over here and click web, and then creator 1080p 60, and then click start, and then just wait for it to finish. The background here, so if you can drag this, you can drag the thing into the composition tab, or the composition button, and it'll create a composition that goes from the beginning to the end. So yeah, there you go. There's no quality loss, really. Like, not really that noticeable. Okay, so now put the text back in. Actually, just move everything over here into the new. Now you can add the reflect. Okay, and I'm also gonna put the music over here because that's where the markers are. Now the intro is starting to come together. But before I go further, I want to show you how to make that thing that's in my Kenneth FX intro. Oh, I just realized I was using the same font as last time. Okay, so I'm going to add another adjustment layer called Blur. And then I'm going to add another Blur Mo Curves. And I'm going to do that. Okay, okay, there we go. Now I'm going to add optics compensation. So reverse lens distortion. I'm going to set it to like 168. And you don't need to add easing to it. Now I'm going to add a turbulent displace. Now, for this, you want to add easing to it. So we're going to do that. What is going on? Okay. Oh my god. There we go. And then boom. And then boom. It doesn't have to be perfect. You might also want to decrease the size a bit. Probably don't want to mess with the complexity a bit. Alright, now you can re-enable these layers. And now it looks kind of like this. Okay, so now for this, I'm just going to put these up here. And there you go, problem solved. Okay, now on to the next part. Shapes. like bursts and stuff. So for this, I'm gonna use my shape pack. My personal shape pack. I'll leave it in the description. I'm not a gatekeeper. It's really just simple shapes anyway. So yeah, you got a wipe here, as you can see. I don't know if I'm gonna use that. Maybe I will, but I don't know. I'm also gonna bring the song into this too, so I can have some markers to where I can put my bursts and stuff. Okay, so the bursts are in here. I'm actually gonna use the second one because I want to add a radial wipe here, not the wipe that I showed earlier. And I'm gonna add a hue to this one because I'm gonna desaturate it. Okay, and I'm gonna add some like circle bursts. I'm gonna use this one. Actually, no, I'm gonna use this one. Okay, now I'm gonna align these to like 500. And 500 times 2. Wait, no, 500 times 2. Oh, wait, no, that's... Okay, Okay, if you need to... Okay, so if you're trying to center it, turn on the proportional grid and then center it like this. There you go. Now it's centered, kind of. So I'm also gonna change this to quarter. Okay, looks good. Alright. We're gonna desaturate both of these. I'm also going to add an arrow burst. This time I'm going to add it like this. You might need to scale it like this. And it may look pixely like this, but if you turn on full, it's fine. And I'm going to add another radial wipe. And then flip. I'm going to search for flip on the animation presets, and then you'll find it there. Desaturate. Alright, hue, saturation. Boom. There you go. Now I'm going to add some splines. I'll show you how to make splines like the saber splines in my other intros in just a second. Okay. Spline. Spline 2. 4. 2, 4, 3. Spline again, and just keep going. Okay, add a black solid. Check. Then use the pen tool, and there's kind of just mark where you want your splines to go. Like mark the path. I'll make like a twist there. It's mainly just kind of doing twists and stuff. I'm gonna add like a wave thing here. Another wavy thing. Another twist. I'm gonna make this one really big. Maybe I'm not. And then all right, there we go. Now it's done. Saber. Pick the one that you want to use. For me, I'll probably use I don't know. Hey, no, mist. Sure. Alright, desaturate that. I'm gonna make that one white. Core size, I'll keep that around there. And then make the start, keyframe the start and end offset. Go over here, boom, boom. You might also want to like do that. All right, easy ease. F9, press F9, and then move it. That is way too much, okay. Okay, so bring those into this composition. Do shapes 2, put it above the background, and I'm going to cut it here. Oh, and also before I continue, just put a drop shadow over everything. Just go over here. And I'm gonna pre-compose all this stuff. Drop shadow. Alright, that looks good now. Okay, so at this point, we should make a CC with, but I'm gonna render this so it's a little bit less laggy. Alright, so now that that's rendered, you should have something like that. So I'm gonna make a CC now. So I'm not gonna use looks because it's broken right now. So I'm gonna use Mojo 2. Alright, so you can try out a bunch of these presets here. Intro, light, or pre-dawn, noir. Now I would use noir, but I've already used it and I don't want to be repetitive. I just those look pretty good. Okay, I'll work with that. I'll add a bit more vignette. I'll make it a little bit more punchy and I'll bleach it a little bit more. Just alright, and I'm going to save that just in case. I'm going to add a glow. Decrease the brightness with the red. I'm also gonna, you also decrease the red, green, and blue, so it's just white. I'm gonna increase the threshold a little bit, give it a little bit more brightness, decrease the glow width just a little bit. I'm gonna increase the threshold a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to add CC Vignette on top of that, and then okay, and that should be almost about it. I'm going to try and see if I can add just a little bit extra. I don't know. Maybe I could add some like contrast, but I don't know if I need it. I will probably add a sharpen though. That looks just a little bit, make it a little bit nicer. If you can notice the difference, okay. Alright, so now I'm going to render this again, so I don't have to deal with like the motion blur, making it slower. Anyway, I'm going to make some black bars now. So go to Effects, click CC Draws, and then go drag completion, and then drag the height all the way down to 0. Take the completion all the way up to 100. I'm going to copy this and then disable this one's sound. Okay, anyways, as I was saying, take your jaws here and then keyframe it, and then go to the next keyframe, and then move it to like 75 or something. I'm going to change this to circular out, and then switch it to ease. I have everything closed, like almost everything closed. Let me close out Handbrake and Discord. Yeah, but there we go. Now it's time for motion blur. So go over here and search RSMB and just drag this. You don't need to use RSMB Pro. It just gives you some more options. 0.7 should be enough. I don't usually go higher than 0.7, so yeah, it's fine. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to add a green screen. And I'm also going to use CC Draws because I want to make the actual Jaws opening thing like this. Let me move it down up below the shutter. You can mess around with the other settings like RoboDraw block, waves. I'm going to just use jaws or spikes. That's what it is, right? Okay. You can also mess around with the direction. I'm just going to keep it like that. And I'm going to switch to 50. I'm going to keyframe it. Press U. Keyframe this. I'm going to use this one myself. No, don't. That. Okay. Okay, that should be good. And just to make this a lot easier, I can just use that. Do that. And I'm also even going to put the motion blur right there. Now it's time for the end transition. Right, now I'm going to search for a transition to use. I'm going to add wipe rings. I'm going to just halfway so I can see. And then -45. I'm going to do 135 actually. Okay. I'm going to okay. Okay, draw this out a little bit more. Make this go back to 0. I'm going to put this a little bit like that. So I'll run with it. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Uh-oh, nope, don't do that. I'm gonna also move this up a little bit. Now I also want to kind of add a stroke to this, like that. And at this point, you honestly should be done. So now all you have to do is render it, and you'll be good to go. All right. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all. I don't even know when. Okay. Well, here's the result. Here's the result again. All right. Bye.